Your brain is currently a frantic hamster on a broken treadmill, screaming for a vacation it will never get. You think you're just stressed, but actually, you're being harvested by a system that profits from your twitching eyelids and cold sweats. It's not a mood, it's a design flaw in your daily routine. I'm here to strip the shiny paint off your modern lifestyle and show you the rusted gears grinding your nerves into dust. Prepare for a cold shower of reality. This is your ultimate survival guide to the mental circus. Smash that like button and subscribe unless you enjoy being a nervous wreck. Fact number 1. Morning coffee. A caffeinated jumper cable for your exhausted soul. The marketing wizards paint a picture of a cozy sunrise and a steaming mug that turns you into a corporate superhero. You believe you are upgrading your engine, but you are actually just pouring hot lead into a delicate clockwork mechanism. Let's peel back the curtain. Caffeine is a molecular squatter. It parks its backside on your adenosine receptors, the very plugs that tell your brain it's time to chill out. While you feel focused, your adrenal glands are screaming like a tea kettle on a volcano, pumping out cortisol until your blood feels like carbonated acid. This isn't energy, it's a biological ransom note. Your nervous system is basically an old Windows 95 computer trying to run a high-definition video game while the cooling fan is clogged with cat hair. It's not a wake-up call, it's a chemical slap to the face that leaves your neurons vibrating like a cheap motel bed. If you enjoy feeling like a vibrating tuning fork, keep sipping that bean juice. But admit it, are there any jittery addicts left in the comments who think they can't function without their fix? Hold my ginger ale while I explain how you have turned your internal peace into a flickering neon sign. This is the ultimate guide to why your calm is a lie. Hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up to join the Truth Seekers Club. Fact number 2. Infinite scrolling. A digital slot machine that harvests your attention like a combine harvester in a wheat field. Big tech sells you connectivity and community, making you feel like a global citizen keeping his finger on the pulse of the world. In reality, you are just a lab rat pressing a lever for a hit of dopamine that never quite fills the void. Every flick of your thumb triggers a microsurge of neurotransmitters that keeps your brain in a state of high-alert hypervigilance. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of you that actually makes smart decisions, starts to wither like a forgotten salad in the back of the fridge. While you stare at filtered lives, your amygdala is processing every notification as a potential threat, leaving your mental hardware stuck in a perpetual reboot loop. It is like trying to build a skyscraper while someone is constantly throwing bricks at your head. This isn't staying informed, it is an electronic leash that keeps your mind pacing in a tiny cage. Are you still staring at this screen hoping for a miracle? Or are you ready to admit your thumb is more active than your actual life? Pour some sugar on me and watch as your focus dissolves like a cheap paper towel in a rainstorm. You are not browsing, you are being processed by an algorithm that treats your peace of mind like scrap metal. Fact number 3. Blue light exposure, a fake sunshine that tricks your pineal gland into a state of permanent confusion. The electronics industry sells you vibrant displays and retina-searing clarity, promising that you can work or play anywhere at any time. You think you are a master of the night, but you are actually just blinding your internal clock with a digital blowtorch. This specific wavelength of light suppresses melatonin production faster than a landlord evicting a tenant on Christmas Eve. Your biology thinks it is high noon in the middle of a desert, even when it is 2 in the morning and you are in your pajamas. This results in a state of social jet lag, where your body is physically in London, but your brain thinks it is stuck in a midday traffic jam in Los Angeles. It is like trying to sleep in a disco with a strobe light pointed at your eyelids. This isn't convenience, it is a physiological glitch that leaves your nerves frayed like a budget charging cable. Are there any midnight warriors here who wonder why they feel like a zombie at breakfast? Strap in for a bumpy ride, because your light bulbs are lying to you. It is not illumination, it is a visual siren that never shuts up, keeping your brain on the edge of a cliff. Fact number 4. Processed sugar. A white crystal Trojan horse that turns your bloodstream into a sticky highway of chaos. The food industry wraps this stuff in colorful packaging and calls it a quick treat or energy on the go. You think you are giving yourself a little reward, but you are actually just sabotaging your internal plumbing. When you dump that refined glucose into your system, your pancreas goes into a frantic, red alert mode, pumping out insulin like a fire department trying to put out a sun with a garden hose. This creates a massive spike, followed by a sugar crash that leaves your brain starving for fuel. In this low-energy state, your body releases adrenaline to compensate, which translates into that shaky, impending doom feeling in your chest. It is like trying to run a luxury sports car on low-grade lawnmower fuel mixed with molasses. This isn't sweetness. It is a metabolic roller coaster that keeps your mood swinging like a rusted gate in a hurricane. Do any of you Candy Crushers realize why you feel like crying after a donut? My grandmother has a better grip on reality than your blood sugar levels do right now. It is not food. It is a chemical trap that turns your emotions into a yo-yo. Fact number 5. Open office plans, a psychological gladiator arena designed to turn your focus into confetti. Corporate gurus sell this as collaboration and transparency, making you believe you are part of a buzzing hive of innovation. In truth, it is a low-budget panopticon where your brain is constantly scanning for interruptions. Every ringing phone, every loud laugh, and every clicking pen acts like a tiny needle poking your concentration. Your brain cannot filter out this sensory sludge, so it stays in a state of ambient threat detection, which is basically a polite way of saying your nerves are being shredded. It is like trying to write a masterpiece in the middle of a construction site while wearing a suit made of sandpaper. This isn't teamwork. It is a productivity drain that leaves your mental battery at 5% by lunch. Any of you office dwellers feel like you've been run over by a truck after 8 hours of sitting? Give a round of applause for the genius who thought putting 50 people in one giant echoing box was a good idea. It is not a workspace. It is a sensory overload chamber that treats your peace like a luxury it can't afford. Fact number 6. Noise pollution. An invisible sonic hammer that keeps your nervous system in a state of permanent tension. City planners and architects sell the urban lifestyle, the hustle and bustle that makes you feel alive and connected. But your ancient ears are still tuned for the rustle of leaves, not the constant hum of tires on asphalt or the whine of distant sirens. This background static forces your body to stay in a fight or flight mode because it can't distinguish between a truck and a predator. Your heart rate stays slightly elevated, and your breathing stays shallow, as if you are hiding from a tiger in a shopping mall. It is like trying to tune a violin while a heavy metal band is practicing in the next room. This isn't vibrant living. It is an acoustic assault that wears down your mental resilience like water dripping on a stone. Do any of you city slickers ever notice how much your shoulders drop when you finally find a quiet spot? It is as if your brain is finally allowed to exhale after holding its breath for a decade. It is not ambiance. It is a frequency-based cage that keeps your pulse racing for no reason. Fact number 7. Decision fatigue. A mental slow leak caused by having too many flavors of everything. The modern world sells us unlimited choice as the ultimate freedom, from 50 types of toothpaste to 10,000 movies on your streaming app. You think you are a sophisticated consumer, but you are actually just draining your brain's decision juice on meaningless garbage. By the time you need to make a real choice, your prefrontal cortex is as dry as a desert bone. This leads to a state of chronic indecision and a nagging feeling that you have missed out on something better. It is like trying to navigate a maze where the walls are made of mirrors and every turn looks identical. This isn't liberty. It is a cognitive tax that leaves you paralyzed and anxious. Are there any of you who spend 2 hours picking a movie only to fall asleep in the first 10 minutes? Congratulations, your brain has officially checked out of the building. This is not options. It is a psychological maze that leaves you running in circles until you collapse. Fact number 8. Dehydration. A slow-motion wilting of your brain's delicate circuitry. The beverage industry sells you flavored waters and sports drinks filled with neon dyes, making you think you need a science lab to stay hydrated. In reality, Most of you are walking around with a brain that is as shriveled as a grape left in the sun. When your water levels drop even slightly, your blood becomes thicker, like old motor oil, making it harder to transport oxygen to your neurons. Your brain, which is mostly water, starts to send out panic signals that feel exactly like anxiety. It is like trying to run a high-pressure hydraulic system with a handful of sand. This isn't thirst. It is a total system failure that manifests as brain fog and irritability. Any of you coffee-only drinkers wonder why your thoughts feel like they are stuck in a swamp. Wake up and smell the tap water because your body is literally crying out for a refill. It is not fatigue. It is a dry rot of the mind caused by your own negligence. Fact number 9. Sedentary lifestyle. A biological rust that turns your body into a graveyard for energy. The tech industry sells you ergonomic chairs and streaming comfort, promising that you never have to leave your sofa again. You think you are relaxing, but your body is designed to move to process stress hormones. When you sit for 12 hours a day, those chemicals just sit in your tissues like stagnant pond water. Your lymphatic system, the trash collector of your body, only moves when you move. If you stay still, the metabolic waste builds up, leaving you feeling heavy, sluggish, and mentally fragile. It is like leaving a high-performance engine to sit in a damp garage for 5 years. This isn't rest. It is a physical stagnation that suffocates your mental clarity. Any of you feel more tired after a weekend of doing nothing than you do after a day of work? That's your body telling you it's tired of being a decorative rug. It is not chilling, it is a slow-motion breakdown of your biological hardware. Fact number 10. Artificial fragrances. A chemical fog that hijacks your olfactory system and confuses your brain. The home decor industry sells you scented candles and air fresheners that supposedly smell like a summer breeze or lavender fields. You think you are creating a spa-like atmosphere, but you are actually just releasing a cloud of synthetic molecules that your brain doesn't know how to process. Many of these scents contain compounds that can interfere with your endocrine system, sending false signals to your hormones. Your brain reacts to these unnatural smells as if there is a foreign invader in the room, keeping you in a state of mild subconscious alarm. It is like trying to listen to a symphony while someone is blowing a plastic whistle in your ear. This isn't aromatherapy. It is a sensory masquerade that messes with your internal chemistry. Are there any of you who think a house isn't clean unless it smells like a lemon-scented chemical factory? You are basically breathing in a liquid lie. It is not freshness. It is a nasal hallucination that keeps your nerves on edge. Fact number 11. Multitasking. A cognitive magic trick that actually just splits your brain into 3 dysfunctional pieces. The productivity gurus sell you the idea that you can handle a dozen tabs, a phone call, and an email all at once. You think you are a high-speed processor, but you are actually just a frantic switchboard operator who keeps dropping the plugs. Every time you switch tasks, your brain pays a switching cost, wasting precious energy and leaving a trail of mental residue behind. This creates a state of continuous partial attention, where you are never fully present anywhere. It is like trying to watch 3 different movies on the same screen at the same time. This isn't efficiency. It is a recipe for a fractured mind and a constant sense of being behind. Any of you feel like you've done everything but achieved nothing by 5 p.m.? Your brain isn't a supercomputer. It's a single-core processor trying to run a simulation it wasn't built for. It is not juggling. It is a slow-motion train wreck of your attention span. Fact number 12. Fast fashion and clutter. A mountain of cheap fabric that acts like a weighted blanket of stress. The retail giants sell you self-expression and staying on trend for the price of a sandwich. You think you are building a wardrobe, but you are actually just filling your living space with visual noise. Every piece of unused clutter in your house acts as a to-do list that your brain scans every time you walk into a room. Your subconscious sees the mess and translates it into, "Your life is out of control," triggering a low-level anxiety that never goes away. It is like trying to sleep in a warehouse full of ticking clocks. This isn't style. It is a physical manifestation of chaos that crowds out your mental peace. Are there any of you who have clothes with the tags still on from 3 years ago? You aren't prepared. you are just hoarding potential regret. It is not a collection. It is a pile of textile anxiety that you have to step over every morning. Fact number 13. Constant news cycle. A fire hose of disaster designed to keep your amygdala in a state of permanent seizure. Media conglomerates sell you the truth and staying updated as a civic duty. You think you are a well-informed citizen, but you are actually just an emotional punching bag for headlines that are engineered to trigger your fear response. Since your brain can't distinguish between a threat 10,000 miles away and one in your backyard, it treats every breaking news alert as a direct attack. Your body stays flooded with adrenaline, waiting for a catastrophe that never arrives in your living room. It is like living in a house where the fire alarm goes off every time someone lights a match on the other side of the planet. This isn't awareness. It is a digital nightmare that parches your soul. Anyone here feel like the world is ending every time they check their phone? Welcome to the club of the manufactured fear victims. It is not information. It is a psychological assault disguised as a news report. Fact number 14. Social comparison. A mental poison that turns your neighbor's highlight reel into your own personal failure. The influencers sell you a lifestyle that is 99% filters and lighting. You think you are looking at reality, but you are actually just measuring your behind the scenes against someone else's best takes. This constant evaluation triggers your status threat response, making you feel like you are at the bottom of the tribal hierarchy. Your brain reacts as if you are being exiled from the pack, which is a death sentence in evolutionary terms. It is like trying to win a race where everyone else is allowed to drive a car while you are on a tricycle. This isn't inspiration. It is a self-inflicted wound that breeds resentment and inadequacy. Do any of you feel less than after looking at a picture of someone else's lunch? You are basically bullying yourself with someone else's propaganda. It is not networking. It is a digital vanity mirror that only shows you what you lack. Fact number 15. Lack of natural sunlight. A biological darkness that leaves your circadian rhythm wandering in a forest of confusion. The indoor economy sells you climate control and warm LED lighting, making you think the sun is optional. You think you are a modern human who has evolved past the need for the outdoors, but your cells are still ancient. Without direct morning sunlight hitting your retinas, your body doesn't know when to start the wake-up sequence and when to prepare for the sleep phase. This creates a state of permanent grogginess and a tired but wired feeling at night. It is like trying to run a solar-powered calculator in a dark basement. This isn't comfort. It is a physiological disconnection that leaves your mood in the gutter. Are there any of you who haven't seen the sun since last Tuesday because of your grind? You aren't a hustler. You are a mole with a Wi-Fi connection. It is not productivity. It is a biological blackout that is making you miserable. Fact number 16. Shallow breathing. A physical signal of panic that you are sending to your brain every 30 seconds. The high-stress world has taught us to breathe into our upper chest, barely moving our lungs. You think you are just breathing, but your diaphragm is basically on a permanent vacation. This shallow, rapid breath tells your nervous system that you are being chased by a predator, keeping you in a state of sympathetic nervous system dominance. Your brain receives the message, "We are in danger," and responds with a rush of anxiety and muscle tension. It is like trying to put out a fire by blowing on it through a straw. This isn't normal. It is a physical habit that keeps your mind in a state of high alert. Anyone here notice that they hold their breath when they open an email? You are literally suffocating your own calm. It is not work. It is a self-imposed oxygen debt that is making you twitchy. Fact number 17. Microplastic exposure. An invisible chemical dust that is literally infiltrating your neurological hardware. The plastics industry sold us convenience and disposable living for decades. You think you are just using a water bottle or a food container, but tiny fragments of these materials are making their way into your bloodstream and potentially crossing the blood-brain barrier. These endocrine disruptors can mimic hormones and mess with the delicate chemical balance that keeps your mood stable. It is like someone throwing a handful of glitter into a delicate watch mechanism. This isn't modernity. It is a biological contamination that we are only just beginning to understand. Do any of you feel off, but can't put your finger on why? You are basically becoming a walking Tupperware party. It is not packaging. It is a molecular intrusion that treats your health like a landfill. Fact number 18. Excessive salt intake. A mineral overload that turns your veins into high-pressure pipes. The fast food industry hides mountains of sodium in everything to make bland ingredients taste like something. You think you are just enjoying a savory snack, but you are actually causing your body to hold on to water like a desperate sponge. This increases your blood volume and raises your blood pressure, which your brain interprets as a state of physical stress. The pounding in your ears or the tightness in your chest isn't just a mood. It's a physical reaction to your heart working overtime. It is like trying to pump thick sludge through a tiny garden hose. This isn't flavor. It is a cardiovascular strain that leaves you feeling edgy and restless. Any of you feel like your heart is racing after a cheap meal? That's not love. That's your arteries begging for mercy. It is not seasoning. It is a physiological pressure cooker. Fact number 19. Lack of meaningful touch. A sensory starvation that leaves your safety receptors shivering in the cold. The digital age has replaced physical presence with likes and emojis. You think you are connected because you have 5,000 friends on a screen, but your skin hasn't felt a reassuring pat or a real hug in weeks. Human beings have evolved to require physical contact to release oxytocin, the calm-down hormone that counteracts cortisol. Without it, your brain stays in a state of social isolation alarm, which feels like a deep, buzzing anxiety. It is like trying to keep a fire going without any wood. This isn't independence. It is a biological loneliness that starves your nervous system. Any of you feel lonely in a crowd while scrolling through your feed? You are starving for a human signal in a world of digital noise. It is not autonomy. It is a sensory vacuum that makes your soul feel fragile. Fact number 20. Blue sky thinking and unrealistic expectations. A psychological trap where you are constantly mourning a life you haven't even lived yet. The self-help industry and hustle culture sell you the idea that you should be a billionaire with a six-pack and a private jet by age 25. You think you are setting goals, but you are actually just creating a massive expectation gap that breeds chronic dissatisfaction. Every day you wake up and aren't perfect, your brain registers it as a loss, triggering a failure response. It is like trying to reach the horizon by running on a treadmill. You see it, but you never get any closer. This isn't ambition. It is a mental torture device that ensures you can never be happy in the present moment. Are there any future millionaires here who are currently too stressed to even brush their teeth? You are being sold a dream that is designed to keep you buying more solutions. It is not growth. It is a psychological treadmill that leads to a nervous breakdown. Fact number 21. Blue light glasses, a screen door for your brain's submarine. The marketing geniuses at every trendy eyewear startup paint a picture of you as a high-tech digital warrior, protecting your precious retinas from the evil glow of your MacBook. They sell you optical defense and circadian harmony, making you feel like a sophisticated intellectual who cares about his biological clock. In reality, these yellow-tinted plastic frames are about as useful as a chocolate teapot in a furnace. While you think you're blocking the harmful rays, your brain is still being bombarded by the sheer intensity of the screen's brightness, which keeps your pineal gland in a state of absolute paralysis. Your nervous system doesn't care about the color of the light as much as the fact that you're staring at a miniature sun at 11 p.m. It's like trying to survive a tidal wave by holding up a cocktail umbrella. This isn't eye protection. It's a fashion-forward placebo that allows you to doom scroll for 3 more hours without feeling guilty. Are there any biohackers in the chat who spent $80 on plastic that does nothing? Hold my overpriced green smoothie while I tell you that your sleep is still a mess because you can't put the phone down. It's not vision health. It's a stylish blindfold for your common sense. Fact number 22. Diet soda. Liquid paint thinner for your self-esteem. The massive beverage corporations draw a beautiful picture of zero-calorie freedom and guilt-free indulgence. You think you're being a disciplined health nut, choosing the silver can over the red one, while you imagine your waistline shrinking with every bubbly sip. But here is the cold, hard truth. Your brain is smarter than your marketing-soaked ego. When those synthetic sweeteners hit your tongue, your pancreas prepares for a sugar party that never happens. This creates a metabolic glitch, where your body stays in a state of confused hunger, spiking your insulin response and leaving your internal chemistry looking like a junked car in a swamp. Your gut microbiome, that delicate garden of bacteria, starts to resemble a radioactive wasteland because these chemical concoctions are basically industrial solvents for your beneficial microbes. It's like trying to wash your silk shirt with a pressure washer and wondering why it's full of holes. This isn't dieting. It's a chemical prank on your metabolism that keeps your cravings screaming like a toddler in a toy store. Do any of you sugar-free fans wonder why you're still vibrating with nervous energy? Put down the can, because your internal plumbing is begging for a break. It's not a refreshment. It's a fizzy invitation to a mental breakdown. Fact number 23. Over-optimization culture. A high-speed treadmill to nowhere. The productivity influencers on LinkedIn and YouTube sell you a dream of becoming Human 2.0, where every minute of your day is tracked, hacked, and stacked for maximum efficiency. You think you're a high-performance engine being fine-tuned for greatness, but you're actually just a neurotic mess with too many spreadsheets. When you try to optimize your sleep, your steps, and your water intake, your brain enters a state of hypervigilance, treating every minor deviation as a total system failure. Your adrenal glands start pumping out stress hormones because you're terrified of wasting 10 minutes of your life. It's like trying to drive a car while constantly checking the torque on every single bolt. You're so focused on the mechanics that you never actually get anywhere. This isn't self-improvement. It's a psychological straitjacket that turns your hobbies into chores and your rest into a performance review. Are you still here, or are you too busy logging your mindfulness minutes in an app? Stop trying to be a machine, because your hardware was built for picking berries, not for managing a multi-tiered digital empire. It's not success. It's a fancy way to burn out before you even hit 30. Fact number 24. Central air conditioning. A refrigerated petri dish for your lungs. Building developers and HVAC salesmen sell you climate-controlled bliss and perfect indoor air, making you believe you're living in a pristine mountain cabin. You think you're a master of your environment, while you sit in a sealed box breathing in the same recycled oxygen for 12 hours straight. Inside those dark, damp ducts, a hidden empire of microscopic dust and stagnant moisture is brewing a biological soup that your immune system has to fight every single second. Your respiratory tract becomes dry and irritated, sending low-level threat signals to your brain that manifest as a vague, persistent sense of unease. It's like trying to live inside a plastic bag that someone occasionally blows cold air into. This isn't comfort. It's a sensory deprivation chamber that disconnects you from the natural humidity and temperature shifts your body needs to stay resilient. Any of you office dwellers wonder why you feel like a dried-out husk by Friday afternoon? You're not cool. You're just slowly mummifying in a drafty cubicle. It's not modern living. It's a slow-motion suffocation that keeps your nerves as brittle as old parchment. Fact number 25. Subscription microservices. A financial leech on your mental peace. The tech giants sell you unlimited access and low monthly payments, painting a picture of a world where everything you want is at your fingertips for the price of a cup of coffee. You think you're a savvy consumer getting a great deal, but you're actually just bleeding out through 1,000 tiny cuts. Each of those small $10 charges acts like a microscopic anchor on your subconscious, creating a background hum of financial obligation that never shuts up. Your brain perceives these recurring leaks as a lack of security, keeping you in a state of resource scarcity panic even if you have money in the bank. It's like trying to fill a bucket that has 50 tiny holes in the bottom. No matter how much you pour in, you never feel truly full. This isn't convenience. It's a digital feudal system where you never actually own anything, and your peace of mind is the ultimate tax. Do any of you even know how many pro versions of apps you're paying for right now? You aren't connected. You're just a walking ATM for a corporation that doesn't know you exist. It's not entertainment. It's a subscription-based nightmare for your nervous system. Fact number 26. Designer fragrances, a synthetic chemical slap to your hormones. The luxury brands sell you sophistication, allure, and confidence in a fancy glass bottle, making you feel like a Hollywood star every time you spray it on. You think you're creating an aura of success, but you're actually just dousing yourself in a cocktail of undisclosed petroleum derivatives and phthalates. These molecules are masters of disguise. They bypass your natural defenses and start mimicking your body's internal signaling system, throwing your mood-regulating chemicals into a chaotic blender. Your olfactory bulb is connected directly to your emotional center, and when it's constantly bombarded by fake smells, it stays in a state of confused agitation. It's like trying to have a conversation in a room where 10 different people are screaming different languages at you. This isn't grooming. It's a nasal assault that keeps your brain on a hair trigger. Are there any perfume heads out there who wonder why they get a headache every time they try to be classy? You're not smelling like a boss. You're smelling like a chemical spill in a flower shop. It's not luxury. It's a bottled identity crisis that treats your biology like a trash can. Fact number 27. Excessive daily showering, a biological sandpapering of your natural shield. The hygiene industry sells you squeaky clean skin and invigorating freshness, painting a picture of a world where being a natural human is somehow disgusting. You think you're being a responsible adult, but you're actually just scrubbing away the complex ecosystem of beneficial microbes that keep your skin healthy and your mind calm. When you strip away your natural oils with harsh detergents, your body goes into emergency repair mode, sending signals of irritation and dryness to your brain. This invisible itch creates a constant, low-level physical discomfort that translates into mental restlessness. It's like trying to protect a wooden house by power washing it until the wood starts to splinter and rot. This isn't cleanliness. It's a self-inflicted assault on your body's first line of defense. Any of you twice-a-day shower addicts wonder why your skin feels like a tight drum? You aren't fresh. You're just chemically parched and biologically lonely. It's not health. It's a commercialized obsession that leaves your nerves exposed to the world like a raw nerve. Fact number 28. Modern hybrid wheat, a glued-up intestinal highway. The industrial food complex sells you the staff of life and whole grain goodness, making you feel like a wholesome farmer every time you eat a sandwich. You think you're getting fuel, but you're actually eating a highly engineered plant that contains levels of glue-like proteins your ancestors never encountered. This modern gluten acts like a thick, sticky sludge in your digestive tract, triggering a localized red alert in your gut lining. Since your gut and your brain are basically best friends on a direct hotline, this intestinal chaos turns into brain fog and a heavy, buzzing anxiety. It's like trying to run a high-speed fiber optic network through a pipe filled with cold oatmeal. This isn't nutrition. It's a slow-motion clogging of your biological gears that makes your thoughts feel like they're wading through a swamp. Do any of you bread lovers realize why you want to take a nap and scream at the same time after a pasta lunch? You aren't full, you're just metabolically jammed. It's not sustenance, it's a doughy trap for your mental clarity. Fact number 29. Active noise-canceling headphones, an acoustic vacuum for your inner ear. The tech reviewers sell you pure silence and immersion, making you feel like you can escape the world whenever you want. You think you're protecting your peace, but you're actually creating a pressurized anti-sound that your brain finds incredibly suspicious. Your ears are designed to constantly monitor the environment for changes. When you delete the background noise entirely, your brain turns up the volume on its internal static, searching for a signal that isn't there. This creates a state of auditory claustrophobia and a strange, phantom pressure in your skull that keeps your nervous system on edge. It's like trying to walk through a dark forest while wearing a blindfold. Your other senses go into overdrive, leaving you more stressed than when you started. This isn't quiet. It's a synthetic void that tricks your brain into thinking you've been buried alive in a soundproof tomb. Any of you silent mode fans notice that weird ear-sucking feeling when you turn the music off? You aren't relaxing. You're just confusing your vestibular system until it wants to quit. It's not serenity. It's a digital vacuum that sucks the calm right out of your head. Fact number 30. Multivitamin megadoses, an expensive chemical load for your liver. The supplement industry sells you health insurance in a bottle and vitality, making you feel like a proactive health hero for swallowing a giant neon-colored pill every morning. You think you're filling the gaps, but you're actually just overwhelming your internal filtration system with synthetic isolates that your body doesn't even recognize as food. Most of these nutrients are flushed out within an hour, leaving your liver and kidneys to deal with the chemical fallout. This constant cleanup duty drains your metabolic energy, leaving you feeling depleted and on edge for no apparent reason. It's like trying to fix a leaky faucet by dumping 500 gallons of water on your house every day. You're not helping, you're just creating a flood. This isn't wellness. It's a high-priced way to make your urine glow in the dark while your nerves stay frayed. Do any of you vitamin warriors wonder why you're still tired despite your shelf full of bottles? You aren't optimized, you're just chemically burdened. It's not longevity, it's a biological tax that your body is tired of paying. Fact number 31. Constant Wi-Fi saturation, an invisible electronic static for your cells. The telecommunications companies sell you blazing fast speeds and total connectivity, making you feel like a god of the digital age. You think you're just staying in touch, but you're actually living inside a permanent web of high-frequency electromagnetic pulses that your cells have to navigate 24/7. While the official reports say it's fine, your biological hardware wasn't designed to be constantly agitated by invisible oscillating fields. This electronic smog can interfere with the delicate calcium signaling in your neurons, keeping your brain in a state of low-grade excitation that feels exactly like a caffeine jitter that never ends. It's like trying to sleep in a room where someone is constantly flicking a flashlight on and off at 1,000,000 miles an hour. This isn't progress. It's a sensory white noise that wears down your mental resilience like sandpaper on silk. Any of you always-on types wonder why you can't find a deep level of calm? You aren't connected. You're just being electronically poked by every router in a 3-block radius. It's not communication, it's a microscopic frequency war against your peace. Fact number 32. Synthetic polyester fabrics, a plastic wrap for your skin's breath. The fast fashion brands sell you performance wear and wrinkle-free convenience, making you feel like an athlete or a busy professional who's too cool for ironing. You think you're being practical, but you're actually wrapping your largest organ in a layer of non-breathable oil-based plastic. Your skin needs to exchange gases and release moisture to regulate your temperature and mood. When you seal it off in a synthetic bag, your internal thermostat starts to malfunction. This creates a state of micro-sweating and physical suffocation that sends subtle panic signals to your brain, making you feel trapped and irritable. It's like trying to run a marathon while wearing a garbage bag. You're going to overheat and lose your mind before you reach the finish line. This isn't style. It's a textile-based sensory deprivation that keeps your nerves simmering in their own juices. Do any of you gym wear all day enthusiasts wonder why you feel so grumpy by noon? You aren't active. You're just being slowly steamed in your own shirt. It's not comfort. It's a plastic-coated anxiety trap. Fact number 33. The to-do list trap, a psychological debt that never ends. The productivity gurus sell you organization and control through the magic of listing your tasks. You think you're being a high achiever, but you're actually just creating a permanent, unfulfilled promise list that haunts your subconscious. Every unchecked box on that paper acts like a Zeigarnik effect anchor, keeping a piece of your brain's processing power trapped in the past. Your mind treats an unfinished task like a threat to your survival, keeping your cortisol levels elevated as long as the list is visible. It's like trying to go on vacation while carrying a bag of hungry kittens. They're going to keep scratching and meowing until you feed them. This isn't management. It's a self-inflicted psychological haunting that ensures you can never truly relax. Are there any list makers here who feel more stressed after writing their tasks down than before? You aren't getting ahead, you're just documenting your own failure to be a robot. It's not productivity, it's a scrolling receipt for your mental exhaustion. Fact number 34. Non-stick cookware, a chemical slippery slope for your biology. The kitchenware giants sell you easy cleanup and healthy, oil-free cooking, making you feel like a professional chef who's too smart for scrubbing. You think you're being efficient, but you're actually heating up a layer of perfluorinated chemicals that start to break down and off-gas directly into your food and air. These forever chemicals act like molecular gremlins once they enter your body, messing with your thyroid and your brain's ability to regulate calmness. Your body doesn't know how to get rid of this industrial slick, so it just tucks it away in your tissues, creating a state of internal chemical friction. It's like trying to build a house on a foundation made of wet soap. Eventually, everything is going to slide and crash. This isn't convenience. It's a slow-motion biological contamination that turns your healthy dinner into a chemistry experiment. Any of you Teflon fans wonder why your mood feels as scratched as your old pans? You aren't cooking. You're just simmering in a liquid lie. It's not innovation. It's a non-stick nightmare for your endocrine system. Fact number 35. Motivational success content. A dopamine loan with 1,000% interest rate. The Sigma Grindset creators sell you inspiration, fire, and the secret to the top, making you feel like a lion waiting to pounce. You think you're getting motivated, but you're actually just borrowing a massive hit of dopamine from a future that hasn't happened yet. When the video ends and you're still sitting on your couch in your stained sweatpants, the reality crash hits you like a freight train, leaving you in a state of deep, buzzing inadequacy. This motivational cycle trains your brain to seek the feeling of success rather than the actual work, creating a permanent gap between your imagined self and your real self. It's like trying to fuel a jet engine with nothing but sparkles and wishful thinking. You might get a few sparks, but you're never leaving the ground. This isn't growth. It's a digital drug that leaves your self-esteem in the gutter. Do any of you Hustle Vlog fans actually have a business yet? Or are you just manifesting a panic attack? You aren't winning, you're just addicted to the vision of winning. It's not mentorship, it's a psychological pyramid scheme for your attention. Fact number 36. Smartwatch health tracking, a high-tech nocebo on your wrist. The big tech companies sell you knowledge and body awareness, making you feel like a master of your health because you know your resting heart rate. You think you're staying informed, but you're actually just training your brain to become a neurotic hypochondriac. Every time your watch pings you to tell you that your sleep score was bad or your stress level is high, your brain registers it as a threat, actually causing the very stress the watch is supposedly tracking. This creates a feedback loop where you feel anxious about being anxious, turning your natural biological fluctuations into a data crisis. It's like trying to enjoy a walk while someone follows you with a megaphone, shouting out your blood pressure every 30 seconds. This isn't health. It's a surveillance-based anxiety generator that ruins your ability to actually feel your own body. Any of you trackers feel like a failure because you only got 7,000 steps today? You aren't fit. You're just a slave to a silicon tally counter. It's not wellness. It's a digital leash for your sanity. Fact number 37. Supermarket freshness lighting, a visual trickery that exhausts your nerves. The retail psychologists design grocery stores with high CRI lighting that makes a wilted apple look like a ruby and a gray piece of meat look like a sunset. You think you're choosing the best, but your eyes are being assaulted by a spectral intensity that is 10 times brighter than what your brain expects indoors. This super lighting triggers a startle response in your pupils, forcing your brain to work overtime to filter out the glare. By the time you reach the checkout, your nervous system is as fried as a carnival corn dog, leaving you irritable and prone to impulse buys just to get a hit of relief. It's like trying to read a book while someone is shining a spotlight directly into your face. This isn't convenience. It's a sensory overload trap designed to disable your rational brain so your panic-buying brain can take over. Any of you wonder why you want to fight someone in the parking lot after a simple milk run? You aren't tired. You've just been visually mugged by 1,000 fluorescent bulbs. It's not shopping. It's a bright light psychological operation. Fact number 38. Fast food ice machines, a biological biofilm surprise for your stomach. The convenience chains sell you refreshing, ice-cold drinks that look like a mountain spring in the commercials. You think you're cooling down, but you're actually sipping from a machine that is almost never cleaned and is likely home to a thriving colony of microscopic slime that your immune system hates. When your body detects these foreign guests, it goes into a state of silent alarm, diverting energy from your brain to your gut to deal with the potential uninvited visitors. This low-level battle in your stomach translates into a jittery or uneasy feeling in your mind as your body prepares for a chemical skirmish. It's like trying to have a peaceful picnic while 1,000 ants are crawling into your shoes. This isn't refreshment. It's a biological speed bump that keeps your nerves in a state of hypervigilance. Any of you extra ice fans wonder why your stomach feels like it's doing backflips after a simple soda? You aren't hydrated. You've just invited a microbial circus into your system. It's not a treat. It's a frosty red alert for your internal security. Fact number 39. The standing desk obsession, a vertical strain on your cardiovascular calm. The office hackers sell you better posture and longer life by convincing you that sitting is the new mortal enemy. You think you're being a warrior of health, but you're actually just forcing your heart to work twice as hard to pump blood from your feet back up to your brain. Standing still for 8 hours is just as unnatural as sitting. It causes blood to pool in your lower extremities, leaving your brain starved for fresh circulation. This blood debt triggers a release of adrenaline to keep your blood pressure up, which your brain interprets as stress and anxiety. It's like trying to keep a fountain running while the pump is struggling to reach the top level. This isn't fitness, it's a vertical stagnation that leaves your legs heavy and your mind racing. Any of you standers feel like your brain battery is at 0 by 2 p.m., even though you haven't done anything? You aren't healthy, you're just a tired statue with a laptop. It's not ergonomics, it's a high-altitude strain on your mental peace. Fact number 40. Budget synthetic bedding, a nightly off-gassing session for your soul. The big box retailers sell you microfiber softness and hotel-quality luxury for the price of a pizza. You think you're sleeping on a cloud, but you're actually marinating in a soup of flame retardants and synthetic dyes for 8 hours every night. As your body heat warms up these plastic sheets, they release a breathable cloud of chemicals that your brain has to process while you're supposed to be resting. Instead of deep cleaning your thoughts during sleep, your brain is stuck in detox mode, leaving you feeling unrested and edgy the moment you open your eyes. It's like trying to get a good night's sleep in the back of a newly painted delivery truck. This isn't rest, it's a nightly chemical exposure that prevents your nervous system from ever reaching true zero. Any of you budget shoppers wonder why you wake up feeling like you've been in a street fight? You aren't a morning person, you're just chemically hungover from your own pillow. It's not sleep, it's a low-budget biological assault. Fact number 41. Artificial sweeteners, chemical lube for your tongue. The corporate food giants sell you the dream of guilt-free sweetness and zero-calorie magic, making you feel like a genius who outsmarted biology. You think you are enjoying a treat without the price tag, but you are actually just sending a fake signal to your brain that causes a massive internal system error. When your tongue tastes sweet but your blood sugar doesn't rise, your hypothalamus goes into a state of absolute logic failure, triggering a frantic search for calories that aren't there. This biological glitch leaves your nervous system in a state of high-alert hunger, making your mood as stable as a house of cards in a wind tunnel. It is like trying to start a car with a picture of a key. You can turn it all you want, but the engine is just going to click and moan. This isn't dieting. It is a neurological prank that turns your appetite into a screaming ghost. Are there any diet soda experts here who wonder why they are always hangry by 3 in the afternoon? My neighbor's broken lawnmower has more internal consistency than your metabolism right now. It is not fitness. It is a molecular lie that treats your brain like a garbage disposal. Fact number 42. Push notifications, a digital whip for your focus. The app developers sell you staying in the loop and never missing a moment, making you feel like a high-powered executive at the center of the world. You think you are informed, but you are actually just a digital puppet being jerked around by 1,000 invisible strings. Every ping and buzz triggers a microburst of cortisol, keeping your threat detection system on a permanent hair trigger. Your brain is forced to context switch so many times a day that your attention span starts to look like a shredded piece of lace. It is like trying to read a deep book while someone is constantly flicking your ear and shouting, "Look at this!" This isn't connectivity. It is a psychological death by 1,000 cuts that ensures you never have a moment of true silence. Do any of you always online warriors feel your pocket vibrating even when your phone isn't there? That is your nervous system hallucinating stress because it doesn't know how to relax anymore. Tony Soprano would have more respect for a snitch than I have for your notification settings. It is not utility. It is an electronic leash that turns your focus into a nervous twitch. Fact number 43. Scented laundry detergent, a floral suffocation for your skin. The chemical industry sells you the smell of a spring meadow and mountain air freshness, making you feel like your clothes are as pure as a newborn lamb. You think you are clean, but you are actually just wrapping your body in a layer of synthetic fragrance molecules that are designed to stick to fabric and never leave. These volatile organic compounds are constantly off-gassing right into your pores and your nose, creating a chemical static that your endocrine system has to fight all day long. Your body treats these artificial scents as foreign invaders, keeping your internal security team on high alert, which translates into a vague, buzzing anxiety. It is like trying to have a conversation while someone is holding a scented candle under your nose for 16 hours straight. This isn't hygiene. It is a nasal home invasion that messes with your biological harmony. Any of you extra scent fans wonder why you feel like you're smothering even in an open room? You are basically a walking air freshener with a mounting sense of dread. It is not freshness. It is a liquid costume that treats your health like a cheap prop. Fact number 44. Cheap audio equipment. Tin can torture for your ears. The budget electronics brands sell you premium sound and bass-boosted excitement for the price of a movie ticket. You think you are feeling the music, but you are actually just subjecting your auditory nerves to a distorted mess of clipping frequencies and muffled harmonics. Your brain has to work 10 times harder to reconstruct the missing parts of the sound, leading to a state of auditory fatigue that leaves you feeling drained and irritable. It is like trying to look at a beautiful painting through a muddy window. Your eyes get tired of squinting to see the truth. This isn't entertainment. It is a sensory, low-quality strain that wears down your mental patience like a dull saw. Are there any lo-fi listeners here who don't realize their hardware is actually the problem? You aren't relaxing. You're just making your brain do heavy lifting for a light song. Bruce Wayne wouldn't use this gear to listen to a police scanner, and you shouldn't use it for your calm playlist. It is not audio. It is a frequency-based headache wrapped in plastic. Fact number 45. High caffeine energy drinks, a liquid cardio rodeo for your pulse. The extreme beverage companies sell you unlimited power and focus for the grind, making you feel like a superhero with a glowing blue battery in his chest. You think you are getting things done, but you are actually just dumping a chemical sledgehammer into your cardiovascular system. These drinks are loaded with synthetic stimulants that force your heart to beat with a nervous intensity that your brain interprets as a looming disaster. Your peripheral blood vessels tighten up, and your breathing becomes shallow, mimicking the physical state of a panic attack. It is like trying to fix a slow watch by hitting it with a hammer. You might make it move, but you're ruining the gears inside. This isn't vitality. It is a biological overclocking that leaves your nerves frayed and scorched. Any of you 3 cans-a-day monsters wonder why your hands are shaking while you work? You aren't productive. You're just a vibrating mess of artificial panic juice. It is not energy. It is a metabolic kidnapping of your inner peace. Fact number 46. Social comparison with childhood peers. Nostalgia poison for your self-worth. The alumni networks and class reunion pages sell you staying connected and celebrating success, making you feel like a global citizen keeping track of his old friends. You think you are reminiscing, but you are actually just running a constant audit of your life against someone else's filtered highlight reel. This triggers a status threat response in your brain's social circuitry, making you feel like you are being pushed out of the tribe because you don't have a private jet or a perfect family yet. Your amygdala doesn't know it's looking at a screen. It thinks you are losing the race for survival. It is like trying to win a marathon by looking backwards at everyone else's fake trophies. This isn't nostalgia. It is a psychological self-sabotage that breeds a deep, quiet anxiety about your own value. Do any of you feel like a failure after seeing a picture of a guy you haven't talked to since 3rd grade? You are basically bullying yourself with a digital ghost. Don Corleone would tell you to stop worrying about other people's business and focus on your own empire. It is not community. It is a vanity-based comparison trap for your sanity. Fact number 47. Low-quality plastic water bottles. Estrogen soup for your biology. The convenience stores sell you pure, mountain-filtered hydration in a crinkly plastic container that costs 99 cents. You think you are being healthy and hydrated, but you are actually just steeping your water in a cloud of leaching chemicals like bisphenol A and phthalates. These molecular mimics enter your system and act like fake hormones, confusing your body's delicate signaling system and messing with your mood regulation. Your brain reacts to this internal confusion by staying in a state of low-grade chemical alarm, which manifests as a foggy sense of unease. It is like trying to play a symphony where half the instruments are out of tune and playing the wrong song. This isn't refreshment. It is a slow-motion biological interference that turns your clean habit into a toxic burden. Are there any gallon-a-day drinkers who are still using disposable bottles from the gas station? You aren't flushing out toxins. You are inviting in the plastic police. It is not water. It is a liquid system error wrapped in a petroleum shell. Fact number 48. Uncomfortable fashionable shoes, structural sabotage for your spine. The high-end designers sell you the look of power and unmatched style, making you feel like you are walking on top of the world. You think you are making a statement, but you are actually just deforming your natural kinetic chain from the ground up. When your feet are squeezed and angled unnaturally, your nervous system has to recalculate your balance every millisecond, leading to chronic muscle tension in your calves, hips, and lower back. This constant structural stress sends a perpetual pain signal to your brain that stays below the level of conscious awareness, but keeps your anxiety levels elevated all day long. It is like trying to build a skyscraper on a tilted foundation made of wet sand. This isn't fashion. It is a physical straitjacket that leaves your mind as stiff as your walk. Any of you style icons wonder why you're cranky after a night out in killer heels or stiff loafers? You aren't tired. Your body is just screaming for a solid base. It is not class. It is a skeletal nightmare that treats your comfort like a worthless accessory. Fact number 49. Dark mode on all screens. The goth camouflage for your eye strain. The tech savants and dark mode enthusiasts sell you eye comfort and battery-saving sleekness, making you feel like a cyberpunk hacker living in the future. You think you are protecting your vision, but for many people, white text on a black background actually causes halation and visual bleeding, forcing the pupils to dilate and work harder to focus. This micro-strain on the ocular muscles leads to tension headaches and a mental exhaustion that your brain translates into general stress. Your visual processing system is basically over-revving its engine just to read a simple email. It is like trying to read a neon sign in a pitch-black tunnel. It looks cool, but it's blinding you in the process. This isn't efficiency. It is a visual illusion that leaves your internal focus as blurry as a smudged lens. Do any of you dark mode lovers wonder why you still have a twitching eyelid at the end of the day? You aren't saving your eyes, you're just stressing them out in a different color. It is not innovation, it is a night vision trap for your focus. Fact number 50. Excessive online shopping. A band-aid for a broken dam. The e-commerce giants sell you the thrill of the find and instant gratification with one-click checkout. You think you are solving a problem or rewarding yourself, but you are actually just chasing a dopamine spike to distract yourself from a deeper sense of emptiness. The package arrival gives you a 5-minute high, followed by a massive crash and a new wave of financial anxiety as you realize you just spent money you didn't have on junk you don't need. Your brain becomes addicted to the search rather than the product, keeping you in a state of perpetual wanting that never finds peace. It is like trying to fill a hole by digging another one right next to it. This isn't retail therapy. It is a compulsive cycle that leaves your closet full and your soul hungry. Are there any frequent shoppers here who have unopened boxes from last month? You aren't building a lifestyle. You're just hoarding potential regret. Sherlock Holmes would see through your consumerist mask in a heartbeat. It is not pleasure. It is a digital lottery that treats your security like spare change. Fact number 51. Perfectionism, the golden handcuffs of your mind. The overachiever culture sells you excellence and being the best as the only path to happiness. You think you are holding yourself to a high standard, but you are actually just paralyzing your own progress with a fear of failure that tastes like bitter ash. Every tiny mistake is processed by your brain as a catastrophic threat to your entire identity, keeping you in a state of chronic hypervigilance and analysis paralysis. You spend so much time polishing the wheels that you never actually drive the car out of the garage. It is like trying to paint a masterpiece while blindfolded and standing on a tightrope. This isn't ambition, it is a psychological straitjacket that ensures you can never be satisfied with the reality of being a flawed human. Any of you perfectionists still waiting for the perfect moment to start your real life? You aren't preparing, you're just hiding in a cloud of high expectations. It is not success, it is a mental prison that treats your peace like a crime. Congratulations, you've reached the end of the Anxiety Reveal Marathon. Your brain is likely pulsing with the cold truth, and that's exactly where I want you. Stop being a passive consumer of corporate lies and start being the skeptical master of your own internal hardware. The system wants you shaky and distracted so it can sell you the cure. Don't give them the satisfaction. Take a deep, diaphragmatic breath, throw out the plastic, and turn off the pings. If you want to stay awake in a world of sleepwalkers, hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up to show the algorithm who's really in control here. Stay sharp, stay cynical, and most importantly, stay rational. See you in the next Truth Drop.